Good afternoon. This is Bob Iacino from Path Trading Partners, along with my co-founder Mike Arnold. It is July 27th, and this is an afternoon Path Chat covering the futures markets. Very interesting day. We actually had a collapse to new record lows in the VIX yesterday that you can see on your screen right now. Let me zoom in for a second. And then you can see today we had an early fall and then a spike all the way up above 11 and then a fall. So Mike will talk about that. That spike was off of a sell-off. That sell-off came basically after a JP Morgan note was released talking about low volatility and some other factors. And when you combine the particular analyst that sent that note out, who is a well-known one, when you combine that with GDP being released tomorrow, US GDP, and non-farm payrolls next week, and new record highs today, and that pretty much caused a bunch of profit taking. Quite a bit of it. Stocks got hit pretty bad in toward the end of the day. Crude oil up again, up above $49 on WTI. And metals were flat-ish. I mean, gold rallied, but then the dollar rallied, so gold sold off. Gold jumped up on the open and then rallied. But Mike will cover all that as to what happened in the metals. But anyway, let me just go ahead and turn it over to Mike so he can show you what happened today on the charts and what it may lead to. Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Bob. So, for the VIX hitting a record low, 884 today, different story. 1 point massive run up into the 11s, 1150 to be exact, falling back down, closing at 1011. So, even though we had a run up, still closing at the lower 10 range. Let's take a look what may have caused this. We did have some quick sell-offs in the FANG stocks, so we'll see some of that in the futures when we get to the Nasdaq. But before that, we'll start with the Dow Mini futures. Dow Mini futures, you can see, is run up, gone through both our GAN projection levels. Next higher, 21,773. Okay, and let's see, we can't update that yet, so we'll have to wait for another major swing to update that. Then we'll have 21,878, then 21,917. If we do pull back, 21,628, very key support. Get through that, we'll be looking at 21,600, and then on a bigger pullback, we'd be watching for about 21,540. Switching over to the S&P E-mini. You can see here in a second. Nice little run. Have not hit the next projected levels higher, so there's nothing else to do. That ran up to around this 2,480 level, then falling back down, entering the rotation zone for a while, coming back to a breakout zone, and then closing back up to slightly lower on the day. So if we do rally again tomorrow, 2,476 first level, then we'll be watching for 2,480, and then eventually 2,485. On a pullback, first level support 2,466 to 67. Then we'll be looking down for this 2461 to 2. Then we could revisit today's lows, 2457, and if that is broken, 2454. Now over to the Nasdaq. Very big range day. You can see here. Ran up pretty much exactly. We had a projected GAN level at 59.94. Today's high, 59.95.75. So that's a really nice hit with those GAN levels. If we do rally tomorrow, first resistance 59.56. Next resistance is 59.95 area. Then we can go to another GAN projection, 6,005. If we do pull back and get below the 5,900 level, we'll be watching for 58.57 to 58.44 is very key support. If that's broken, we're watching for a possible return to 58.03 to 5800. Switching over to crude. Crude still continuing its strong run up. See, you got another close above the trend line a couple days ago, but nothing actionable with that. Could have targeted the prior breakdown level of about 48.71 and our trend line, which we nearly stopped at dead yesterday. Got through that trend line. Now with that close around this 49.03. We're looking for a probable run up to about 49.63, then 49.95 to 42.50. Those are the next key levels we're watching for the upside. You might see a little resistance coming in. That's 49.51. On a pullback, we will be watching for support 48.75, then possibly down to 48.50. If 48.50 doesn't hold, we could then see a possible return to 47.89 to 48 level. Switching over to gold. Gold, which has run up, filled the whole trendline trade targets, then went up to the significant level, actually gapped up above it, nearly closing on it. You can still see this level has some significance. So next, a rally up tomorrow. We'll be watching for about 1271 to 1272, and then possibly 1275, and then 1277. On a pullback, 1263 first level. Then we're watching for major support coming in about this 1260 level. If that is broken, we could see about a return to 1255 to 1256. Finally, over to silver. Silver, pretty much the full target of the trendline trade also, and the resistance from this declining trend line. So that trade's done. That was triggered back here on about the 20th of July. So on a rally up tomorrow, resistance 1680. Then we could see if that is broken and we can get above that trend line. 1688 would be the next key level to 1691. If we continue this pullback, strong support coming in about 1647. Then we'll be watching for a potential return to about 1642. If that is broken, we'd be watching to possibly then trade down to about 1636. That's all we have for you on this futures update. Turning it back over to you, Bob.
Thanks for that, Mike. Don't forget, U.S. GDP tomorrow expected somewhere around 2%, depending on who you talk to. So that'll be pretty important. Please hit like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and check out the Money Path podcast. We'll be recording a new one tomorrow morning while GDP is going, and we'll talk about that GDP number, as well as some of our cryptocurrency stuff and the other markets. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you guys in the next Path Chat. Cheers, everyone.